Hey there guys, what's going on? This is Chaos here, back to you with another video. The best YouTube channel on the planet, the most chaotic, craziest YouTube channel on the planet. Um, Thank you guys for joining and tuning in. So, I got another live stream that's gonna be at 3 o'clock p.m. So, I have a gaming channel. It's basically I'm playing mostly Nintendo games. So if you guys want to jump in and check that out, you're welcome to do so. Um, let's see, I gotta get rid of all this stuff very quick, and we will get into um, and we would definitely get into the we would definitely get into it. Just give me a minute to. I got so much stuff going on. Okay, trash this. I might want to move this in, replace. Keep the props. I'll keep that in here in case you need it. I don't really need this anymore. Let's see. Alright. Okay, so, this is pretty much dedicating to. This video is dedicating to, what happened to my second job. I allegedly quit at Fred Meyer's in one day. I couldn't do it. And it was just one of those jobs where everything is people are setting you up for failure. They don't want to train you appropriately, and other employees don't want to help you out because they prefer somebody else to help you out. It's just a lot of people just they don't want to have the responsibility to try to help other people to understand the job and what they're supposed to do. They think that all you're doing is this, and that, and that's all you're doing, and it's more to it than that. And so, I would not be, and for now, that is going to be the last retail store job that I'm ever gonna do in my entire life. For now. Okay, so basically, I went through orientation. I showed up for that. Did everything I was supposed to do with that. So then, after um, after that, um, I went in on my first night, and I was sitting in the break room waiting for my shift to start. And so, what ended up happening is I asked one of the coworkers that I'm supposed to be working in a grocery. So I asked if they know where I'm supposed to go next, right? And they were like, well, whatever your manager supposed to be. And I told them, I had to literally tell them, like, and it was so annoying because they were talking to me as if like I've been there for like I've been working there for like a while now. And I asked her, I told her that I'm new and I need to know, like, where am I supposed to go? Because I don't know who my manager is. I don't know who anything is. The HR didn't tell me all of that stuff. The only thing she went over in orientation was the benefits you get for working at Fred Meyer's, and all the rules, the do's and the don'ts, you know, the same old scenarios, right? And so she led me to where I was supposed to be. And the lady had to ask who was in charge or whatever. It was just all over the place. So then they got me with this guy um, named Jake, right? And so they paired me up with him, saying that I was going to be working with him. But this dude, instead of him working with me, because you know you're training with me, it's more like I guess they didn't have enough people to satisfy those other positions. But this guy, it was hard to understand what he was saying. He was always using one word sentences. And he, I don't know, looked like he was artistic or something. I don't know. But I could understand what he was saying. He wouldn't even train me properly, you know, explain things, you know, of what I'm going to be doing. He told me that the aisles are changing because they got brand new aisles that was built in the store. And it was built in the store for more groceries, for more other, you know, sections, you know, for more groceries, for more items to be stocked on the shelf, right? And in the back room, they had these green, they had these green, they call them the Yubo, but it's like these green, uh, shelves that you have to push them, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know, but they, you have to put the items on them, and whatever items that is overstocked or that are brand new, we don't stock those items, right? So we put them in the back. So they had in the back room, they had the freights all over the place, and they had these green wheeled uh, totes, these green wheeled these I don't know what you call them, but they're like these little. For those of you that work for Kroger, you guys know what I'm talking about. They call them the U-boat or whatever. So it was more like, okay, um, they had the aisle numbers, and it was like it was just ridiculous, right? So what ended up happening was he was telling me like, okay, so for aisle 7, the items have to go on aisle 10. And I'm just like, well, that's kind of confusing. How come they can't just stick with the aisle, like change the number on the aisles if they're going to fix it that way? And then I asked him, you know, he was explaining how all those shelves are new and they're going to have to put items on all those shelves, right? That were built. So I asked him, like, okay, so how do you know when you switch up? Like, how do you know what freights you're going to be using or how's going on? They said they don't tell you anything. So he just kind of just like, they don't care. They don't tell you anything. You just got to figure it out. So I asked him, I said, okay, so when you are like before you start work, do you guys have a group meeting together to kind of discuss like, you know, what's going on and assign people to where they're gonna be or what? Nope, they don't do that. All they do is just you just come in and work. I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like this because I was working. I guess because I was working at Walmart for Eagle River, and the way they do things is very organized. You know, at least you know what's going on. The manager tells you and everybody else what's going on, and you know what's going on. Over here in Anchorage, it's like, because I live in Alaska, it's like you just get to work. You know, nobody tells you where you're going to be. HR didn't tell me who I was going to meet up with. Like, nothing was organized, nothing was done in order. everything was just out all over the place. I tried calling HR and it was terrible. Like terrible customer service. Like it's terrible there. Like I call HR, you can never get a hold of HR because they're never reachable, and either they got another orientation or they got something else going on. The people that were training me weren't training me right. They was like they weren't mean or nothing, but the lady that I was just asking some general questions and stuff, right? But because she had this ignorant attitude and she was all like, I only work with candy. I don't work with anything else. I don't know what you guys are doing, right? And I'm just like, oh, okay. That's almost like saying, well, I don't play video games, so I don't know what a PlayStation 5 is. Everybody should know what a PlayStation 5 is. Just like I know, uh, I know a thing or two about the LGBTQIA community and which each letter stands for. And guess what? I'm not even gay or homosexual. And I'm not even a homosexual. I'm a heterosexual. You see what I mean? But see, a lot of people don't really get, are not knowledge. They only knowledgeable on things that they want to be knowledgeable on, and they kind of block out stuff that they don't want to be knowledgeable on, right? So that's kind of the situation vibe that I was getting from her. And because I'm new there, it's like I just felt like I was out of place and a conversation starter. The people there didn't seem like they knew what they were doing. Everybody was just in their own zone. Like nobody wanted to train nobody. Nobody had the patience or time. The person that was supposed to be training me, he was all over the place. He left me in the back room. I'm standing in the back room and I'm waiting. He's talking with other coworkers. I just didn't like that at all. I just didn't like that. Like it just felt like me being there, I'm gonna get set up for failure. And then the lady was asking me, what time did you leave? The one that was like, oh, I only work with candy, right? And she was very ignorant, and I didn't like her attitude because she was ignorant towards me, and with her facial expressions and stuff that she was doing, and then she was nice to everybody else. I hate people like that. Like I hate people like that. Not that I'm trying to get everybody to like me or nothing like that. It's just that you, you know you got a new person. I done told her I was new. I was working with the candy, thinking, okay, I gotta work with the candy. Everything is just so unorganized. Everything is just out of place. And the people I was working with, they weren't really much help. Like, I just said, you know what? I'm not even. I'm not coming back after this. I'm not coming back. Like the HR person didn't tell me who I was gonna be with for the night shift, and she didn't even tell me like what was going on. Like only thing she did was went over the benefits and all of that stuff. I mean, I didn't even think I was gonna stay that long anyway. However, I did give Fred Meyers a shot. Um, I did give it a shot, and the way they were doing their freights, the way they were doing things, I didn't like it. You got to pull on the freights, and you got to like on the forklift, and you got to pull it into the grocery area, and then whatever you go, you got to pull the forklift and you got to pull the freights while at the same time you got people that are in the way. It was just all over the place. I didn't like that. See, I like the way that Walmart does things. In Eagle River, they set the freights in the middle of the grocery, and all you got to do is work and just stock them. At least they were organized and they did things in an orderly, fashioning manner. They have meetings, they discuss what's going on, then they assign people to, whichever, go to grocery and whoever they're gonna go to. But in at Fred Meyer's, like, they're just all over the place. You gotta push freights out of the back room to different grocery aisles. You gotta throw boxes all over the place, and then at the same time you got to uh not only you got to throw boxes and you got to push the freight out, and then they had the UBO carts. They had the green carts that was sitting out there like lined up, right? And I asked a few people, and then they were like, "Well, I only work." He was like, "Well, I'm only a truck driver." So I'm just like, okay, so like I'm working here. Nobody knows anything. It's just like everybody is just only focused on their own job positions, and they don't really care about trying to help other people. And I just couldn't do it. I left. I did give that grocery store a shot, but I do not like it. And if that store does things that way, then I'm pretty sure that most of the Fred Meyer stores work the same way. I couldn't do it. They didn't have like they had an app, or you have to use like this zebra scanner to scan the item, but you have to look on the tags to see what number goes where. And it was just unorganized. So I asked the guy a question during the time that he was training, right? So I asked him, I said, so um so whatever happened to the labels to where it'll show you what shelf you're on and what aisle you're on, just like at Walmart, how they had organized, they got, it tells you what number aisle you're on and what section it is, right? Instead of them having it that way, he was like, you just gotta count, you just gotta go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. No. That's crazy. So I just said, you know what, I can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. Like everything is all over the place, and I only had two. The way HR scheduled my schedule, she had me working 3 days out of the week. When I asked, and that's another reason why I left, because I asked to be on full time, because he said that he was the one doing the scheduling. But at the same time, the HR lady had me working 3 days out of the week, and I didn't like that. You see what I'm saying? When I came there to work, I wanted to work full time because I'm already working another job part time. So, uh, so I'm gonna go to uh the career center and just try to see if there's some job opportunities, because I'm starting to think that Alaska, they don't have any good jobs. Only jobs they have is retail stores, security, and then they got everybody saying they got truck driving, bus driving. Bus driving and truck driving is just not the job for me. I can't do it. Not saying that I can't do it, but it's not the truck driver for me. Then you got to deal with these Alaskan people. They drive to they drive recklessly. Like when I was taking the Uber to get to work, cuz I pay Uber to get to work cuz I don't have a car anymore due to you know what happened in Alabama. I think there's some videos that I made about that. But it was just like when I was taking the Uber, it's like some of them would just drive out there and not even look both ways before they just turn. They just drive out there and then cause the other person to almost hit them. They do this every time. Like this is the second time, like twice, I have experienced that. It is ridiculous, right? And people like that don't need to drive, period, to be honest with you. So so it was just like a lot that was going on, and Fred Meyer's just not the place for me. You know, um I was in a pretty good spot when I was working at Walmart cuz I was working as a janitor, but I got but the problem with that is the only reason I got fired cuz I had too many points, cuz I was trying to put in a leave of absence and they didn't approve it, and all of a sudden I end up getting all those points, and you know but I think this time I'm gonna be applying for the one in Anchorage, because there's no point in me going back to Eagle River if I don't live there anymore. So, and plus I'm glad I left because there's a bunch of racist and prejudiced people over there, and I just I can't deal with that. Like I don't like being around racist and prejudiced people unless if I'm working, if I'm at work, then that's different because I don't have to say nothing to them. I can just do my job and get out. But if I'm just around and about, I don't like being around people like that with that sort of negative mentality, you know. So, I like to be around people who are diverse, who are positive, who are friendly, and people who like to get to know other people and stuff like that. But unfortunately, the environment and the city that I'm in, it's like a lot of people, they just they're going through a dysfunctional phase where they don't really care about people or meeting people anymore. And some people are nice, but then they get to a point where they get easily irritable and they want to start giving out orders and telling people what to do. Like, like somebody died and made them in charge. It's just like, it's ridiculous. And I'm going to do a whole video talking about the people in Alaska. I think that's going to be another video. The stuff that I learned, what to look out for, what's going on, how these people operate, because it sucks here. It really does. The jobs here suck. The people here suck, and their attitudes really suck. And there's like a lot of white people here and natives, or here than they are with. Not trying to make this a whole race baiting thing, but you hardly ever see like any black people here or any uh, Indians, and if you do, it's like every blue moon you'll see like a couple of black people, some Indians, and other colored inner people. But for the most part, it's a lot of white people and it's a lot of Asian slash native people and whatnot. So it's not really, it is a prejudice type of place because I have dealt with racism and prejudice from people, and I've been living in Alaska for like almost a year. But anyway, I'm gonna let that be the next video I do. um as far as the whole new job situation, it was just ridiculous, man. And it was like I was a conversation starter, and people were just like, they didn't care, and the lady that I spoke with, she was very arrogant and talking about, I only work with candy, I don't work with any of the other stuff. And I'm just like, then what use is she if she only works with candy? So I asked the guy that was training me, I asked him, I said, like, um, so is there like a position where she's only working with just one item? So what he's the way he explained it, he was like, said something along the lines of, yeah, there's a position like that. Like he wasn't really, didn't really care to see if I got the job right or whatever. Like he just didn't have no like these jobs, people have no compassion in helping other people anymore. It's like people are lazy, they're all over the place. And then the guy had the forklift, the not the forklift but the pallet that we were working on. He went to the checkout, then he just got up and left and never came back. I'm just like, okay. So I was getting boxes. I didn't know what was going on. He didn't even. Later, he taught me how to use it. So I'm like, okay, I can use this, but I'm confused on, you got the aisles all mixed up. Nobody's telling you this. Like, you're all over the place. And you see what I'm saying? So it's like, I just said, you know what? I can't do this no more. Can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. So with that, I quit on the first day. I quit. I couldn't do it. Like, it's just the environment, the way people did things there. It was so unorganized. HR don't tell you everything. People don't tell you everything. And I just couldn't do it. I just left. Like, before, um, I became the talks or the conversation starter, I just left. I just did not come back. I said, I can't do this no more. I'm done. So I left. And then certainly after that, I just couldn't do it no more. Like, it was just too much. Like, they were unorganized. The guy was walking all over the place, and he just left me there. Considering like it was I'm new. I don't know how y'all do things. Like, they got me pulling freights at random from the back room and taking them all over the place. And I'm like, well, how do you know? And the way he explained it, it was kind of very cryptic. So, yeah. Um, Next video, I'm gonna talk about Alaska and my experience here, and we'll go from there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you don't want to like, comment, subscribe, that's also fine. But at least leave a comment. At least. I do comment shout outs. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'll be back with another one real soon.